So with all of this great content you've created, you're probably going to want to share it with others. As you may have noticed, pages are organized in the sidebar into 3 sections. There's a public or workspace section, a shared section, and a private section. Depending on the other members in your workspace, you may see one or all of these sections. Generally speaking, we encourage people to keep their sidebar minimal. As you can see, there are only 6 pages in my sidebar, but they don't represent every single page in my workspace. Other pages are nested inside of these like so. We're going to get really familiar with this during our demo today. For nested pages that you want to access easily, like a project plan that you're actively working on, or documentation that you're responsible for maintaining, you can favorite it to create a 4th section at the top. Again, best practices would say to be selective with your favorites, favorite pages that you use frequently, and then unfavorite them when the project wraps. Important to note here that if you're working in a workspace alone, you'll just see one section because there is no distinction between public, shared, and private. They're all just your pages. You can, however, still add favorites. It's also a really easy problem to fix by adding members or guests in the settings of your workspace. Check out the Help Center guides on permissioning for more granular detail about these different roles in your workspace. So let's go ahead and walk through some of the best practices when it comes to sharing. Starting with, when should you share with one person? When you share a doc with just one person, it will show up in the shared section of your sidebar and of theirs. This is useful for brainstorms, private meetings, HR-related things, or generally speaking, anything that you wouldn't be comfortable with every single member of your workspace seeing. To share with just one person, you can use the invite bar under the Share tab. So when should you share things with your whole team? Anything in the workspace section is going to be shared out to, again, every single member in your workspace. So this is useful for promoting transparency and keeping everyone on the same page. Examples of things that we commonly see in a workspace section include meeting notes, documentation, project management, roadmaps, etc. Generally speaking, we suggest to default to creating pages that are public to your whole workspace unless there's a good reason not to. Finally, when should you share with the public? We see a lot of people create public Notion pages that work as makeshift websites, so things like job postings, resources for new employees before they've onboarded, or even landing pages for special promotions would be great for public pages. When you share something with the public, you'll need to toggle Share to Web. There are more granular permission levels that you can set, like search engine indexing and edit access based on your use case. For websites, you'll want to turn search engine indexing on and everything else off. You may also want to lock the page, which will prevent any accidental edits. Finally, let's talk permission levels. If you're operating on an enterprise plan, your team will have permission levels: member, admin, and so on. Be careful with these too. Since admins can change billing information, security settings, and more, we default to having everyone on your team as a member with a small handful of responsible admins. Let's think through sharing and permissions with a common Notion use case, one-on-one notes. For any regularly scheduled meeting, it can be helpful to keep a log of discussion topics and action items. This helps keep both parties organized and gives you space to dump random thoughts throughout the week to maximize time together. One-on-ones are also a good time for managers and direct reports to talk about personal or sensitive information, which is why they make a great use case to learn about sharing. We probably wouldn't want to create a one-on-one notes log inside of a public area due to the nature of content. For obvious reasons, it can't be private, so it needs to land in that shared section of our sidebar. To share a page with just a subset of your organization, you'll want to first create it as a private page like we've done here. Once it's created, I can use the Share button to give Nate access to everything on this page. To do this, I'll simply type his name and invite him with full access. Now that page has been removed from the private section of my sidebar, and it lives in the shared section where Nate and I could both view and add details to different meetings. If at any point a discussion from the one-on-one needed to be shared or escalated to another team member, anyone with full access to the page could share just that one page to the third party. For example, I could invite Camille, and she would have access to the meeting notes from August 20th, but not the rest of the database.